around the gate. Again, please stay seated until the train comes to a complete stop. The engine will give you a blast with a whistle, leaving the air brake in check. Then I'll give you the go-ahead to exit on the left side open. Wait for the whistle, everybody. While the train's in motion, keep those arms and legs and especially your heads inside the rail car at all times. And please refrain from smoking, eating, or drinking anything but water aboard the Greenfield Village Railroad. And as we continue on now through Railroad Junction, we're about to pass the historic Smiths Creek Depot, originally built in 1858 in Smiths Creek, Michigan. That's about 8.5 miles southwest of Port Huron. Where's the boy Thomas Edison worked for the Grand Trunk Railroad, selling treats and newspapers along the way, from Port Huron to Detroit and back again. Just on the other side of our Smiths Creek Depot, that fenced-in area is the new home to the vegetable building from the Detroit Central Market. Built here in Detroit in 1861 and coming soon to Greenfield Village. And that brings us to the heart of our Railroad Junction district just up ahead, the Detroit, Toledo, and Milwaukee Roundhouse, where we repair and maintain our 3 coal-fired steam locomotives. Originally built in 1884 in Marshall, Michigan, it was recreated here at Greenfield Village in the year 2000, using elements from the original building. On the other side of the Roundhouse is our Liberty Craftworks district, where artisans and craftsmen create beautiful objects in glass and pottery, tin and weaving. There's a print shop and a sawmill as well. And don't miss the Davidson Gerson Glass Gallery with a spectacular collection of industrial glass. And we're now entering our working farms district, and just beyond the Red Cider Mill is the Firestone Farm, the birthplace of Harvey Firestone, Henry Ford's great friend, and the founder of the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company of Akron, Ohio. In 1828 in Columbiana County, Ohio. And if you get a chance, stop by the barn today. Check out the new arrivals. Firestone Farm is a real operating farm. Our farm hands will be out in the fields today using tools, implements, and techniques they used way back in the mid-1800s. So just beyond the cornfield is our next stop of the day, and that's Firestone Station at the front gate. From here you have full access to working farms, Main Street, Liberty Craftworks, and Henry's Model T. Leaving us here, please stay seated until the train comes to a complete stop. The engineer will give you a blast of the whistle. That means the air brake is set. And then I'll give you the go-ahead to exit on the right side open. So please stay seated, everybody, till you hear that whistle blow. Still wait for the whistle, everybody. And get the glass out of the way.
That's way off. Yeah, it's not very way off. I want to get off on the okay, we can't see it. You're in the way though.
Guys, can you switch? Okay, please.
You're literally still going to be sitting naked.
Иди вперед, садись, больше снимай. Мила, тут так хорошо, мне такой смешной.
The Greenfield Village Railroad. This afternoon we have the Thomas A. Edison coal-fired steam locomotive pulling the train, and I'm Mike, your conductor. For the safety of our younger riders, we ask that the adults with them place themselves on the outside of the road. If that's not practical, please make sure their health are easily within your reach. And please stay seated while the train's in motion. Keep those arms and legs, and especially your heads, inside the rail car at all times. And please refrain from smoking, eating, or drinking anything but water aboard the Greenfield Village Railroad.
You're going to be jumping out of here.
Смотрим туда. Туда, смотри, пар.
And as we begin our journey to explore the sights and sounds of nearly 300 years of American innovation, I'd like to remind you Greenfield Village is divided into 7 districts. Our first is Henry's Model T. You can get a ride on a genuine Ford Model T car at the loading dock on the corner of Bagley and State Street, right here in Henry's Model T district. And that brings us to the birthplace of Henry Ford. Coming up on your left, it's the Ford Farm. Built here in Dearborn, Michigan in 1861. Henry was born in that white farmhouse in July of 1863 and lived there with his parents and 5 brothers and sisters. You might notice our herd of merino sheep out in the pasture today. Some of the finest wool in the world comes from merino sheep. Up next, it's our Main Street district. Here you'll find the Wright Brothers home and the Wright Cycle Shop, the birthplace of aviation. Across the street, it's the Cohen Millinery Shop for a fashionable new hat lady. And take a spin on our 1913 Herschel Spillman Carousel. Don't forget, smack dab in the middle of Main Street, it's the center of the known universe. Of course, I'm talking about the frozen custard stand. It's like the best ice cream ever. And we're now entering our Edison at Work district, and just beyond the picket fence is Thomas Edison's Menlo Park complex, where Edison and his staff of scientists and engineers developed the very first practical incandescent light bulb. The Menlo Park complex is America's first research and development lab, responsible for such innovations as the microphone, the phonograph, and over 800 other patents. Also on your left, the mustard yellow building is the Sarah Jordan boarding house, where Edison's staff used to live. It's the first residential structure in the U.S. to be wired up for electric light. And we're now approaching approaching the gateway to our Porches and Parlors district. That's the Acme Covered Bridge from 1832 in Pennsylvania. Just beyond the bridge is our next stop of the day, and that's Susquehanna Station. From here you have full access to the entire Porches and Parlors district, including the McGuffey School, the Hermitage Slave Quarters, the Noble Webster House, and the Robert Frost Home, just to name a few. So if you're leaving us here, please stay seated till the train comes to a complete stop. The engine will give you a blast with the whistle, which means the air brake is set. And then I'll give you the go-ahead to exit on the left side only. Susquehanna Station is your stop for old-time historic baseball, happening right now down at Walnut Grove. Just a short walk up the hill, then down the hill to Walnut Grove and historic baseball. So again, folks, please stay seated till you hear the whistle blow.
Паровозы большая редкость. Приходили люди специально на посмотреть. Вот и толпа проходила туда макали. Да, паровозик.
Those arms and legs, and especially your heads, inside the rail car at all times. Please refrain from smoking, eating, or drinking anything but water aboard the Greenfield Village Railroad. And as we continue on now through the Porches and Parlors district, we're now passing the historic Susquehanna Plantation. Built in 1825 in St. Mary's County, Maryland, it was owned by Henry and Elizabeth Carroll, a prosperous family who held lavish parties in that plantation house. Now compare that to the small red house next door. That's the Thomas Clinton home. Thomas was an indentured servant, and he lived in that small one-room house with his wife and 7 children. At the end of the road on the other side of our Ferris windmill, that's the Daggett Farm, a living history farm from 1754 in Andover, Connecticut. Stop in and see how Samuel Daggett and the family lived and worked on the farm prior to the American Revolution. And check out their kitchen garden in the back, where they grew fruits and vegetables and herbs for medicinal purposes. And we're now passing by the latest addition to Greenfield Village. It's our brand new horse paddock down here at Hawthorne Glade. When the horses need a day off, this is where we bring them. The locomotive at the head of our train today is the Thomas A. Edison. It's a coal-fired steam engine that was basically cobbled together back in 1952 at the Ford Rouge plant from an old 1868 Manchester once owned by Thomas Edison. The thing is, Henry didn't want a Manchester engine, he wanted a Mason. So he redesigned it to sort of look like a Mason. And the result is the Franken engine we have today, the Thomas A. Edison, weighing in at 25 tons. Now, folks, let's take a moment to sit back and relax and enjoy the sights and sounds of railroad as it was in the late 1800s and early 1900s.
Паровые машины. 45 машин. Вложили в угли, энергии, фактически 100%. А колеса
Що робити? Яка добра.
And we're now entering Oxbow Island. The Oxbow is an 11-acre wetland restoration project, one of the largest in southeastern Michigan. Hundreds of trees have been planted and the waterways cleaned and cleared. And wildlife has returned with herd of deer and many smaller animals as well, like rabbits, squirrels, and turtles. Birds too, like green and blue heron, egrets, and Canada geese. And a big old flock of wild turkeys. And we're now entering Walnut Grove on the backside of our Porches and Parlors district. It's where we hold many of our special events throughout the year. And this afternoon, Walnut Grove has come alive with the crack of the bat and the roar of the crowd as old-time historic baseball has returned to Greenfield Village. This afternoon, our old La-Di-Da's are taking on the Detroit Baseball Club. And you know, they're playing under rules written back in 1864, which include no spitting, no cursing, and no gloves. Can I hear a huzzah?
Huzzah! Я оставила рюкзак в коляске, а там, по-моему, всех документов эксплуатация разложена. Все убрали.
Off to your left, that's the Henry Ford Academy. Henry Ford Academy is a charter school here in Wayne County. Students attend for free that are chosen by lottery. This portion of the campus houses the 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. 9th graders attend class at the Henry Ford Museum. Just up ahead, you'll see 3 attached rail cars. They serve as classrooms for the senior class. Imagine that, going to class in a rail car. That waterway on your left is the Swanee Lagoon. It's a rainwater catch basin. We use it for flood control here at the village. More importantly, though, it's the home to Godzilla, one of the biggest turtles you'll ever see. That old boy's been swimming in these waters since 1929. Also on your left, at the top of the hill, a popular wedding spot. That's the Martha Mary Chapel, named after Henry Ford's mother and mother-in-law, Martha and Mary, of course. And on your left, 2 of our restaurants. The green building coming up is the Taste of History. This year featuring a special menu based on recipes from some of our historic sites, like the Daggett Farm, the Firestone Park, and the Burbank House. Right next door, the white building is the Eagle Tavern, built in 1832 in Clinton, Michigan. It offers an authentic 1850s-style dining experience, featuring locally sourced and seasonal favorites served under candlelight by waiters and waitresses in period clothing. And that brings us to our next stop of the day, and that's Smith's Creek Station. From here you have full access to Railroad Junction, Main Street, and Liberty Craftsworks. You're leaving us here, please stay seated until the train comes to a complete stop. The engineer will give you a blast with the whistle that means the air brake is set. Then I'll give you the go-ahead to exit on the left side only. Smith's Creek Station is your stop from Main Street and the Carousel, as well as Railroad Junction and the Roundhouse. And you're just a few short steps away from Liberty Craftworks and Henry's Model T. So if you're leaving us here, please stay seated until the train comes to a complete stop. And I give you the go-ahead to exit on the left side only. Wait for the whistle, everybody.
There we go. Look at this. Can't even see.
How's it doing today?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good.
Oh, good.
That rain almost felt good. It knocked the heat down a little.
I'm sorry?
I said that rain almost felt good. It knocked the heat down a little.
Yeah, for the time being.
Yeah.
You guys ridden the Model T before?
Yes, we have. No windshield wipers, eh?
Well, you know, all those types of things were available.
Oh, just extra cost.
You see, Henry Ford didn't put anything extra on the car because it would have made the car cost more.
Yeah, well, that makes
Now,
sense.
if you wanted it a little competitive, it was readily available. You can get it. Yeah, there was a lot of the companies that made, you know,
Aftermarket
things for the
stuff.
Model T.
They kept playing baseball. There it is.
up and just see if the train goes by chance?
I'm sorry?
Think we could just slow up and see if the train goes by us? I think he's almost getting ready to leave.
Well, I can for a moment.
Yeah, just for a minute. Can't wait too long because all the cars will back up.
Are you sure he was leaving? Because they usually blow the whistle when they're leaving.
Yeah, we're not going to get him again next time. What if they kept playing baseball? Looks like they did.
Yeah, now he's
Okay, thank you so much, sir. It's like all the stars aligning.
Here it comes.
Latest day. Wow. Oh, thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. Latest day.
We're not that busy today anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. They hung out there in the rain. gonna be pretty neat when that's done.
Yeah, it will be, yeah. Considering the fact that it was first erected in 1861.
Wow.
Yeah, the original building, like I say, 1861. Then in 1894, they wanted it moved. The city of Detroit wanted it moved. So the recreation department made arrangements to have it moved over to Belle Isle. And they used it to store the police forces.
Oh my goodness.
And after that, I don't know where it went. And the Henry Ford got a hold of it in 2003.
Oh wow, that long.
Where it was, no.
Before that, yeah.
Yeah.